Do you feel like life is pulling you in every direction, leaving you stressed and disconnected? What if you could reclaim your focus, calm your mind, and feel more at peace, all through the simple, everyday actions you already take? This question might sound like the setup to some big, life-changing revelation, but what if I told you the answer isn't found in something grand or dramatic? The solution isn't buried deep in some exotic place or in the latest self-help trend. The answer, quite simply, is within the small, seemingly mundane actions you take every single day. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That can't be right. I've tried countless strategies before, yet nothing seems to stick. And I get it. The hustle and bustle of daily life, work, family, social commitments, it's overwhelming, and it often feels like we're caught up in a cycle where everything is happening to us and we're just along for the ride. But here's the thing. There's power in the quiet, invisible aspects of our lives that we often overlook. The routines, the habits, those little daily rituals that most of us dismiss as insignificant. These very rituals, done consistently with intention, can be the anchors that ground us in a sea of chaos. You see, rituals are different than habits. A habit is something you do automatically, brushing your teeth, for example. It's something you might do on autopilot. A ritual, on the other hand, is something done with purpose, a deeper meaning behind the action. It's a deliberate and intentional act that brings structure, peace, and clarity to your day. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that the mornings you wake up early, make your bed, and enjoy a quiet cup of coffee before diving into your responsibilities feel different from those rush mornings when you're scrambling just to get out the door? What's the difference? It's those small actions, your ritual, that set the tone for the day. They provide an opportunity to pause, reflect, and begin the day from a centered place. So, what if I told you that the simple act of creating and nurturing a morning ritual, a daily routine, could have a profound impact on your mental and emotional well-being? What if these rituals, done regularly and with intention, could help you reclaim your focus, reduce your stress, and bring clarity into your otherwise hectic life? Let's dive deeper into how this works. Why does ritual matter? First, let's talk about why rituals matter so much. We live in a world that constantly pulls us in every direction. Our phones, social media, emails, the news, they're all designed to grab our attention, creating a sense of urgency and stress. It's easy to feel like we're losing control, like we're just reacting to life's chaos instead of shaping it ourselves. That's where rituals come in. They serve as psychological anchors. They ground us when everything else feels uncertain. They help us reclaim a sense of control and purpose, no matter how chaotic the world around us may seem. Take a moment and think about something small you do every day. Maybe it's a cup of tea in the morning, a few minutes of stretching before bed, or a walk during lunch. These seemingly insignificant actions are more than just habits. They're rituals. When done mindfully and intentionally, they can reduce decision fatigue, that mental exhaustion that comes from having to make too many decisions. They allow you to approach your day with more clarity and calm, even in the middle of stress. And it's not just about reducing stress. Rituals have been shown to enhance creativity, improve focus, and boost our overall well-being. When we begin each day with a ritual, we start it with purpose and intention. This positive momentum sets the tone for the entire day, creating a foundation for productivity, emotional resilience, and peace. You might be wondering, can small rituals really have that much of an impact? The answer is yes, absolutely. Often we overlook the power of small actions because we're conditioned to believe that change has to be big or dramatic in order to matter. But the truth is, it's the small, consistent actions, the rituals, that hold the real transformative power. Let's take a look at some examples. Even the world's wealthiest and most successful people swear by their daily rituals. Take Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. He wakes up at 3:45 a.m. every morning to work out, check his emails, and get his day started. This ritual, though simple, prepares him mentally and physically for a high-demand day. Or consider the morning routine of Oprah Winfrey. She begins her day with gratitude, reflecting on the things she's thankful for before doing anything else. This practice sets a positive tone for the rest of her day and keeps her grounded in the midst of her busy life. These rituals are not just about productivity or success. They're about creating a sense of order, calm, and intentionality in a world that's constantly pulling us in different directions. Rituals teach us the power of intention. They show us that we don't need to add more to our already overflowing to-do lists to create positive change. Instead, we need to focus on the quality and intentionality of the actions we're already taking. By bringing awareness to these small, everyday moments, we unlock their true power. This doesn't mean you need to wake up at 3:45 a.m. like Tim Cook or practice gratitude like Oprah. Your rituals can be uniquely yours. It's about finding those small moments that work for you, moments that bring you peace, help you focus, and give your day structure and meaning. The key to the effectiveness of rituals lies in their consistency. It's not about doing something extraordinary or perfect. It's about showing up for yourself every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Over time, these small moments of intentionality add up, building a foundation of peace and well-being. When we make rituals a regular part of our lives, they compound, providing us with greater resilience, mental clarity, and emotional balance. This is the quiet power of routine, the small, consistent actions that over time change everything. So, what can you take away from all of this? The next time you feel overwhelmed or disconnected, pause and think about your daily rituals. What do you already do that can be made more intentional? What small action can you turn into a ritual that will help you ground you? It doesn't have to be anything grand or complicated. Start small. Begin with a simple ritual, whether it's taking a moment of silence in the morning, enjoying a cup of tea with full attention, or setting a clear intention for the day ahead. By transforming the small actions you already take into meaningful rituals, you're not just getting through your day, you're creating a life that's filled with more focus, peace, and intention. You've got the power within you to transform your life. It's all in the quiet, everyday rituals. Now, it's time to embrace them.
We live in a world where life feels like it's happening to us, not with us. The chaos, the never-ending to-do lists, the constant distractions. It can feel like there's no way to get control, no way to break free from the endless cycle of stress and overwhelm. Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt like you were already behind, rushing through your day from one task to the next, just trying to keep up? It's like being swept along by the current, struggling to find solid ground. We've all been there. But what if I told you that you can regain control? That there's a simple, powerful tool at your disposal that doesn't require extreme willpower or sweeping changes? The answer lies in the rituals you engage in every day, the ones you might not even realize you have. What exactly is a ritual? Well, it's easy to think of rituals as something reserved for religious ceremonies or special events. But rituals are everywhere, and they're not just for the extraordinary moments of life, they're for the everyday. Before we dive deeper, let's take a moment to explore the difference between a habit and a ritual. The two terms are often used interchangeably, but they're not the same. A habit is something we do automatically, often without thinking. It's a behavior that has been ingrained into our routine to the point where we do it without much thought or effort. Habits can be positive, like brushing your teeth, or negative, like biting your nails. On the other hand, a ritual is a habit, yes, but with intention behind it. It's a purposeful, mindful action that brings meaning to the moment. It's about setting an intention for that action and doing it with purpose and focus. Think of it like this. A habit is automatic, while a ritual is deliberate. For example, imagine you start every morning by drinking a cup of coffee. If it's just a habit, you're likely rushing through it, barely even tasting it, thinking about the next thing on your list. But if it becomes a ritual, you might aside a few minutes to sit quietly, savor the warmth of the cup, breathe in the aroma, and enjoy that small moment of peace before diving into the day. That's the power of a ritual. It transforms the mundane into something meaningful. Now, you might be wondering, why do rituals matter so much? How can something as simple as a cup of coffee or a short walk transform your entire day? Here's the thing. Rituals act as the invisible architects of our day. They shape our thoughts, our emotions, and ultimately our entire experience of life. By introducing small, intentional actions into our daily routine, we create a framework for how our day will unfold. Think about it. When you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, your mind is flooded with notifications, emails, messages, all these external demands that immediately take you out of the present moment. But when you start your day with a ritual, even something as simple as a quiet cup of tea or a few minutes of stretching, you give yourself the space to set the tone for the rest of your day. Rituals provide structure and grounding. They're psychological anchors that help us stay focused and centered, even when the world around us feels chaotic. They can serve as moments of mindfulness, allowing us to pause, reset, and realign ourselves before we dive into the busyness of life. In a world where we're constantly being pulled in different directions, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. We have so many decisions to make, so many tasks to complete, that our brains get fatigued from the sheer amount of input. This is called decision fatigue, and it can lead to feelings of stress, anxiety, and burnout. But rituals help reduce decision fatigue. By incorporating small, intentional actions into our routine, we're not constantly having to decide what to do next. Instead, we allow the ritual to guide us, offering clarity and structure. Rituals give us permission to take a break from the constant noise of our thoughts, allowing us to focus on something simple and calming. Imagine starting your day with a 5-minute meditation. This small act becomes a ritual that calms your mind and helps you enter the day with a sense of peace and focus. You're not rushing through it. You're giving yourself permission to pause, to breathe, and to center yourself. In those 5 minutes, you're able to clear away the mental clutter, allowing you to approach the rest of the day with more clarity and calm. Beyond reducing stress, rituals can also help us build emotional resilience. Life isn't always smooth sailing. We face challenges, setbacks, and difficult emotions along the way. But when we incorporate rituals into our lives, we create a sense of stability and security, even in the face of adversity. Rituals help us navigate life's ups and downs by providing a sense of consistency. When everything else feels uncertain or out of our control, our rituals remain a steady presence. They serve as a reminder that we have control over the small, everyday actions we take, even when we feel powerless in other areas of our lives. For instance, let's say you've had a stressful day at work. You come home and you're feeling drained, anxious, or frustrated. But instead of diving into your phone or mindlessly watching TV, you take a few moments to engage in your evening ritual, perhaps lighting a candle, doing a brief journal entry, or taking a warm bath. These small, intentional actions give you a sense of control and calm in the midst of a turbulent day. You're allowing yourself the space to process your emotions and reset for the next chapter. It's easy to say rituals can change your life, but it's always helpful to see how this actually plays out in the real world. Let's take a look at how people from all walks of life incorporate rituals into their daily routines. Consider the morning ritual of renowned author and speaker Tony Robbins. He starts his day with a practice called priming, which involves deep breathing, gratitude exercises, and visualization. This ritual sets the tone for his day and primes his mind for success. Or take the example of the Japanese practice of ikigai, which revolves around finding purpose in daily activities. Ikigai encourages people to infuse meaning into everything they do, from brushing their teeth to cooking a meal. It's not about the task itself, but the intention and mindfulness behind it. Even in the workplace, rituals can make a huge difference. Many top performers use rituals to enhance their productivity and well-being. For instance, some successful entrepreneurs swear by the power of journaling, meditation, or a morning workout. These small rituals serve as tools for focus, clarity, and emotional balance, helping them perform at their best, even under pressure. There's actually science that supports the idea that rituals can enhance our well-being. Studies have shown that engaging in rituals can reduce anxiety, increase feelings of control, and even improve performance. When we approach an action with intention and mindfulness, our brains release positive chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin that boost our mood and overall sense of well-being. In fact, researchers have found that people who engage in meaningful rituals experience greater life satisfaction and lower levels of stress. It's as if these small acts of intention act as a buffer against the demands of daily life, helping us stay grounded and focused. Rituals are more than just small habits. They're the invisible architects that shape our days. They give us structure, provide clarity, and help us stay emotionally resilient even when life feels chaotic. By introducing simple, intentional rituals into our routine, we can create a foundation of peace, focus, and well-being. As you reflect on your own life, consider the small rituals you already have. How can you make them more intentional? How can you transform the everyday actions you take into moments of mindfulness and purpose? Remember, it's not about doing something extraordinary. It's about doing what you do every day, but with more awareness, more intention, and more meaning. By doing this, you'll find that even the simplest of rituals can have a profound impact on your life.
Have you ever paused to think about why you do the things you do every day? What drives you to go through the motions of your routine? The answer might seem obvious. We all have tasks, obligations, and goals we need to meet. But what if the key to making those everyday actions more meaningful, more impactful, lies in the simple act of asking, why? We often move through our days without questioning the purpose behind our actions. We rush through tasks, tick off items from our to-do list, and before we know it, the day is gone. But what if we approached each moment with intention, understanding the why behind what we do? The power of everyday rituals isn't just in the action itself, it's in the meaning we infuse into those actions. The real transformation begins when we stop merely going through the motions and start doing things with purpose. That's when the magic happens. When you infuse meaning into the ordinary, it becomes extraordinary. It's not about what you do, but how and why you do it. When you know the reason behind your actions, you engage with them in a completely different way. The mundane tasks of life, those seemingly insignificant moments, suddenly carry more weight and more purpose. Think about your morning routine. When you wake up and immediately grab your phone, what's the first thing on your mind? Is it checking emails, scrolling through social media, or diving into the endless stream of news and notifications? These actions may seem harmless, but they lack intention. They can even create stress, setting the tone for the day in a negative way. But what if you approached each moment with intention, understanding the why behind what you do? The power of everyday rituals isn't just in the action itself, it's in the meaning we infuse into those actions. The real transformation begins when we stop merely going through the motions and start doing things with purpose. That's when the magic happens. When you infuse meaning into the ordinary, it becomes extraordinary. It's not about what you do, but how and why you do it. When you know the reason behind your actions, you engage with them in a completely different way. The mundane tasks of life, those seemingly insignificant moments, suddenly carry more weight and more purpose. Think about your morning routine. When you wake up and immediately grab your phone, what's the first thing on your mind? Is it checking emails, scrolling through social media, or diving into the endless stream of news and notifications? These actions may seem harmless, but they lack intention. They can even create stress, setting the tone for the day in a negative way. But what if you took just 5 minutes to start your day with a ritual that aligns with your values? Maybe it's sitting quietly for a moment of reflection, or taking a deep breath to center yourself before reaching for your phone. This small shift doesn't just add structure to your day, it adds meaning. You're no longer reacting to the demands of the world around you. Instead, you're creating space to set your own intention for the day.
to engage with life in a way that aligns with your deeper values. The simple act of pausing and asking, "Why am I doing this?" can transform any task into a meaningful ritual. Whether it's brushing your teeth, making breakfast, or walking to work, every action becomes a choice, a moment to engage with purpose. Why is this so powerful? It's because rituals ground us. They help us stay focused even when life is chaotic. They act as psychological anchors, creating stability in a world that constantly demands our attention. By giving each task meaning, we can approach our day with a sense of calm and clarity, reducing stress and boosting our emotional resilience. We all know the feeling of being overwhelmed. The constant barrage of emails, meetings, and deadlines can create a sense of mental clutter, leaving us feeling scattered and unfocused. But rituals can help clear that clutter. By focusing on the why behind what we do, we eliminate the need for constant decision-making, which is one of the biggest sources of stress. Instead of constantly reacting to external demands, we begin to act with intention and purpose. Take the act of drinking water, for example. It's a simple, everyday task that most of us do without thinking. But when we shift our focus and ask, "Why am I drinking this water?" we realize that it's not just to quench our thirst. It's a way to nourish our bodies, to care for ourselves. This simple shift in perspective transforms the act into a ritual. Instead of mindlessly drinking, we engage with the action, acknowledging the importance of hydration and self-care. The beauty of this approach is that it can be applied to virtually anything. You can transform mundane activities into meaningful rituals simply by considering the intention behind them. Whether it's taking a walk, making your bed, or even answering emails, each task becomes an opportunity to engage with purpose and mindfulness. But it's not always easy to infuse meaning into every action. We live in a fast-paced world that constantly demands our attention, and it can be tempting to rush through tasks just to get them done. However, when we do this, we miss out on the opportunity to experience life more deeply. We become disconnected from our actions and our own sense of purpose. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment, of fully engaging with the task at hand without distraction. By bringing mindfulness into our rituals, we can transform even the most mundane activities into meaningful experiences. For example, let's say you're washing the dishes. Instead of rushing through it, thinking about what's next on your list, take a moment to focus on the sensation of the water running over your hands, the sound of the dishes clinking together, the warmth of the water. Engage with the task fully, without distraction. In that moment, the simple act of washing dishes becomes a ritual, a mindful, intentional act that grounds you in the present moment. This practice of mindfulness is not only calming, but it also helps us build emotional resilience. Life is full of challenges, and we can't always control what happens to us. But by bringing meaning and intention to our daily rituals, we create a sense of stability and control in our lives. We learn to navigate the ups and downs with more grace and clarity. Rituals also help us stay connected to our values. In our busy lives, it's easy to lose sight of what matters most to us. We get caught up in the day-to-day tasks and obligations, and we forget to check in with ourselves. But by incorporating rituals that align with our values, we can reconnect with what truly matters. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, engaging in a creative pursuit, or practicing gratitude, rituals provide a way to stay grounded in our core values, even when life gets hectic. One of the most powerful aspects of rituals is their ability to create a sense of continuity. Life is full of change, and sometimes it can feel like we're constantly adapting to new circumstances. But rituals provide a sense of stability, a constant thread that runs through our days. They remind us that even in the midst of change, there are things we can control. We can choose how we show up in the world, and we can choose the small rituals that shape our days. As we continue to explore the role of rituals in our lives, it's important to remember that they don't have to be perfect. In fact, perfectionism is one of the biggest obstacles to creating meaningful rituals. If we try to make everything perfect, we can become overwhelmed and discouraged. The key is consistency, not perfection. It's about showing up for ourselves day after day and engaging with our rituals with intention and mindfulness. The beauty of rituals is that they don't require a lot of time or effort to be effective. Even small actions done consistently and with purpose can have a profound impact on our well-being. The power lies not in the size or complexity of the ritual, but in the intention behind it. So as you move through your day, I encourage you to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is the intention behind this action? How can you infuse meaning into even the smallest tasks? By taking a moment to reflect on the why, you can transform your everyday activities into powerful rituals that ground you, center you, and help you live with purpose. It's not about doing more or trying to be perfect. It's about bringing intention to what you're already doing. When you do that, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and your daily rituals become the building blocks of a more meaningful, fulfilling life.
When it comes to rituals, the idea can feel overwhelming at first. After all, we all have busy lives filled with obligations and responsibilities. The thought of adding something new to our already packed schedules might sound like a challenge. But what if I told you that it's not about adding more, but about transforming what you're already doing? The beauty of rituals lies in their simplicity and their ability to transform everyday actions into powerful, intentional practices that nurture your well-being. In this section, we're going to dive into how you can start creating your own personal rituals. Whether you're looking to bring more focus, calm, or meaning to your day, the key is to start small, stay consistent, and approach it with intention. The first step in crafting your personal rituals is to look at what you're already doing. We all have habits and routines, some good, some not so good. But what if you could take those existing actions and turn them into meaningful rituals? For example, let's take a look at your morning routine. Maybe you wake up, get dressed, and head straight into your day without thinking much about the process. Now imagine if you approached each part of your morning with intention. When you wake up, instead of immediately reaching for your phone, you could take a few deep breaths, stretch, or simply take a moment to be grateful for the day ahead. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they can help you set the tone for the entire day. Or, let's say you have a habit of drinking coffee every morning. Instead of just rushing through it, treat it as a ritual. Slow down, savor the aroma, take a mindful sip, and appreciate the warmth of the cup in your hands. This small shift can bring a sense of calm and mindfulness to your day, turning an ordinary habit into a moment of presence. The next step is to identify what matters most to you. What do you want to feel more of in your life? Do you need more calm, more focus, more connection with others? Your rituals should reflect the things you value most. If you feel overwhelmed, a ritual that brings you peace and relaxation may be helpful. If you feel disconnected from your creativity, a ritual that nurtures your imagination and passion might be a good place to start. Let's take a moment to reflect on how your values can guide the creation of your rituals. For example, if family is important to you, a ritual that involves spending quality time with your loved ones might be a great way to strengthen those connections. Perhaps it's a weekly dinner with your family, or a simple ritual of checking in with loved ones through a phone call or text each morning. These small, consistent actions can help you stay grounded in what truly matters. Similarly, if personal growth is a priority, rituals that focus on self-improvement, like journaling, reading, or meditation, can nurture your mind and spirit. The key is to align your rituals with your values, so they feel meaningful and authentic. When your rituals reflect what's important to you, they become more than just tasks on a to-do list. They become practices that enrich your life. Once you've identified what matters most, it's time to create a simple framework for your ritual. The easiest way to start is by focusing on just one or two key moments in your day. You don't need to overhaul your entire routine all at once. Instead, focus on transforming small actions into intentional rituals. Let's say you decide to start a ritual of morning mindfulness. The first step is to decide on a time and place. Maybe it's as simple as setting aside 5 minutes after you wake up, sitting on your bed or at your kitchen table,
and taking a few deep breaths. During those 5 minutes, you can either meditate, reflect, or simply focus on your breathing. The key is to make it a non-negotiable part of your morning. When you do this consistently, it becomes a ritual that helps set a positive tone for your day. You might also consider creating a ritual for winding down in the evening. After a busy day, it's easy to feel mentally and physically drained, but instead of mindlessly scrolling through your phone or watching TV, you can create a ritual that helps you relax and recharge. Maybe it's reading for 15 minutes, taking a warm bath, or reflecting on what you're grateful for before bed. The purpose of this ritual is to help you unwind, so you can approach sleep with a sense of calm and peace. As you begin to establish these rituals, remember that consistency is key. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself day after day and committing to small moments of intentionality. Rituals don't have to be elaborate or time-consuming. In fact, the simpler and more accessible they are, the more likely you are to stick with them. But consistency doesn't mean rigidity. Life happens and things won't always go according to plan. Don't be discouraged if you miss a day or if your ritual doesn't look exactly the same every time. The power of rituals lies in their flexibility. If one day you don't have time for your usual ritual, that's okay. The goal is to return to it the next day without guilt or self-judgment. One of the most common obstacles to creating rituals is perfectionism. We often feel like if we can't do something perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. But that's not the case with rituals. Rituals are about the process, not the result. It's about the act of showing up for yourself, creating space for mindfulness, and building a practice that nourishes your mind and body. It's about finding moments of peace and presence, even in the busiest of days. As you continue to develop your personal rituals, you may find that some work better for you than others. That's okay. Rituals are deeply personal, and what works for one person may not work for another. Experiment with different practices and see what resonates with you. It's important to be open to trying new things, but also to recognize that not every ritual will be a perfect fit. That's part of the process. Another helpful strategy is to incorporate rituals into existing habits. This can make the process of creating rituals feel less daunting. For example, if you already have a habit of drinking coffee in the morning, try pairing it with a moment of gratitude. As you sip your coffee, think about one thing you're grateful for that day. This simple act turns an ordinary habit into a mindful ritual, giving it more meaning and purpose. You can also build rituals around transitions throughout your day. Transitions are moments when your focus shifts, when you move from one task or activity to the next. Instead of rushing through these transitions, use them as opportunities to create a ritual. For instance, if you're transitioning from work to home, take a few minutes to unwind and reset. Perhaps it's a short walk outside, or a few minutes of deep breathing. These small rituals can help you shift your mindset and create a sense of balance throughout your day. Finally, let's talk about the ripple effect of rituals. As you begin to create rituals that nurture your own well-being, you may notice that they begin to affect other areas of your life. For example, a ritual of mindful breathing in the morning may help you stay calm and focused during stressful moments at work. Or a ritual of family dinners might strengthen your relationships and bring more connection to your home life. Rituals don't just impact you, they also have the potential to influence your relationships, your work, and your overall well-being. The more you nurture yourself through intentional rituals, the more you're able to show up for others, bringing your best self to every situation. By crafting personal rituals that align with your values and needs, you create a foundation for growth, connection, and well-being. These rituals become anchors that help you navigate life's ups and downs with more grace, more focus, and more purpose. Remember, it's not about doing more. It's about doing what you already do, but with more intention, more presence, and more meaning. Start small, stay consistent, and let your rituals evolve with you. Over time, you'll begin to notice the profound impact they have on your life.
When you begin to craft rituals that help you live with more intention, you'll quickly notice that their impact extends far beyond your own personal well-being. In fact, the ripple effect of these small, consistent actions can create waves that reach into every area of your life, your relationships, your work, and even your sense of purpose in the world. The beauty of rituals lies in their ability to not only transform your own experience, but also to influence and enhance the world around you. When you take the time to nurture yourself through intentional practices, you show up in the world with more clarity, patience, and presence. And this, in turn, affects everyone you come into contact with. This is one of the most profound aspects of rituals. While they may begin as small personal practices, over time they can create a ripple effect that impacts your relationships, your work, and your overall sense of peace. Let's take a closer look at how rituals can positively influence not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. Think about the relationships in your life, your family, your friends, your coworkers. Have you ever noticed that the way you show up in your relationships is often a reflection of how you're feeling on the inside? When we're stressed, overwhelmed, or disconnected from ourselves, it's easy for that energy to spill over into our interactions with others. Now, imagine the impact of nurturing yourself through rituals. When you take the time to slow down, center yourself, and cultivate a sense of peace, it doesn't just benefit you, it benefits the people around you. You become more present, more patient, and more attuned to the needs of others. Your ability to listen, connect, and engage with compassion grows. For example, let's say you've created a morning ritual of mindful breathing or meditation. You start your day grounded and focused, which allows you to approach the rest of your day with a calm, clear mindset. When you engage with others, whether it's your partner, your children, or your colleagues, you're able to show up with more patience and understanding. You're less likely to react out of frustration or stress, and more likely to respond thoughtfully and intentionally. This ripple effect extends to all types of relationships. The simple act of nurturing yourself through rituals can strengthen your bonds with others, enhance communication, and create a deeper sense of connection. It's not just your personal relationships that are affected by your rituals, your work and productivity are too. In fact, one of the most significant impacts of rituals is their ability to enhance focus and performance, allowing you to show up as your best self in your professional life. When you begin your day with a ritual, whether it's through mindfulness, exercise, or setting clear intentions, you set the stage for success. These small moments of intentionality create a sense of focus, helping you approach tasks with clarity and purpose. Instead of rushing through your work with a scattered mind, you tackle each task with a clear sense of direction, reducing decision fatigue and increasing your efficiency. Take a simple example. Let's say you've developed a ritual of reviewing your goals each morning before diving into your workday. By taking 5 minutes to check in with your goals and priorities, you create a sense of purpose that guides your actions throughout the day. This small ritual helps you stay focused, reducing distractions, and improving your productivity. And it's not just about being more productive, it's about being more present and engaged in your work. When you start your day with a ritual that aligns with your values and goals, you approach your work with a sense of meaning and intention. You're not just going through the motions, you're contributing to something that matters. But the ripple effect of your rituals on your work doesn't stop there. As you cultivate a more intentional approach to your own tasks, you'll notice that your energy, focus, and presence affect those around you too. Whether you're collaborating with a team or managing a project, the way you approach your work can inspire and motivate others to do the same. As you continue to nurture yourself through rituals, the most profound change you'll likely experience is an overall sense of well-being and mental clarity. When you create space for mindfulness, self-care, and intentionality in your daily routine, you're laying the foundation for long-term peace and resilience. Rituals act as anchors that help you stay grounded in the midst of life's challenges. They provide a sense of stability and routine even when the world around you is uncertain. And as you engage with these rituals consistently, you build emotional resilience, allowing you to navigate difficult situations with more grace and clarity. But the benefits don't stop with mental well-being. Rituals also have a significant impact on your physical health. When you take the time to engage in rituals that nurture your body, whether it's through exercise, proper nutrition, or sleep, you're supporting your physical health as well. Over time, these small acts of self-care compound, creating a foundation for both physical and emotional well-being. And perhaps one of the most profound aspects of rituals is their ability to help us find mental clarity. In our busy lives, it's easy to get lost in the noise, the constant demands, the endless tasks, the pressure to do more. But when we engage in rituals, we create space to step back and breathe. We make room for reflection, for self-awareness, and for the mental clarity that comes with slowing down. Now that we've explored how rituals can positively impact your relationships, your work, and your overall well-being, let's talk about how to sustain the power of rituals over the long term. This is where many people run into challenges. Life gets busy, routines change, and it's easy to slip back into old patterns. But the key to sustaining the power of your rituals is flexibility. Life is constantly changing. There will be days when your rituals don't go as planned, when you miss a meditation session or skip your evening walk. That's okay. The key is to not give up, but to remain flexible. If you miss a day or two, simply return to your ritual the next day. The consistency isn't about perfection, it's about showing up for yourself even on the days when it feels difficult. One of the most powerful aspects of rituals is their adaptability. As you go through different phases of life, your rituals can evolve with you. Maybe you start your morning with a cup of tea, but as your life changes, you decide to add a few minutes of journaling. Maybe you begin your evening ritual with a few minutes of stretching, but later shift to a longer yoga session. The point is that rituals are fluid. They can change as your needs and circumstances change. By adapting your rituals to fit your life, you can continue to harness their power no matter what life throws your way. Over time, the benefits of your rituals will compound. The small, consistent actions you take each day will add up, creating a foundation of peace, resilience, and well-being. You'll find that as you stay committed to your rituals, your sense of purpose deepens, your emotional resilience strengthens, and your overall well-being improves. And the beauty of rituals is that their impact doesn't just benefit you, it spreads outwards, affecting everyone around you. As you grow more centered, more focused, and more grounded, you'll inspire those around you to do the same. The ripple effect of your rituals will continue to grow, positively influencing not just your own life, but the lives of those you love, work with, and interact with every day. So, as you continue to build and refine your personal rituals, remember that the key is consistency. Start small, stay committed, and allow your rituals to evolve with you. Over time, you'll experience the quiet power of these small, intentional actions, and you'll discover that they hold the key to a life of greater peace, clarity, and purpose.